On this episode, I sit down with Larry Carey of Pilot House Distilling in Astoria, Oregon. This is Headphones Recommended. Okay. All right, it's Michael with Headphones Recommended. Thank you for tuning in. We're at episode 6. I am sitting down today with Larry Carey from Pilot House Distilling.
Michael, pleasure to meet you.
So good to meet you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start at the beginning. Tell me about yourself. What's your history? Who are you?
Well, you said the name, Larry Carey. I moved out here to Astoria 9 years ago from Nashville, Tennessee. I was out there working for a billiard manufacturer. Sold pool tables all around the world.
Yeah.
I also sourced them. Did that for 15 years, and then had some life changes. My kids moved to Portland, Oregon, and I followed suit a year after they moved out. But I did not want to live in Portland again. I had really fond memories of Portland, and I didn't want to disrupt those memories.
Yeah.
I think Portland in the 90s is a little different than Portland today.
Maybe a little.
So I picked Astoria. It felt a little rough around the edges, and it felt like a fun little town. I remember coming through this town in the 90s, like most people did, as fast as possible. You came out here for a beer and a black eye back then. It's a little different now, a little calmer, but it's still got a great feel.
Yeah.
So that's what brought me out here, and then
And I'm sorry, just time frame. Like, how long ago was that you came out to this area?
I moved
about how many years ago?
February 2011 is when I pulled in on the first.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been great. Didn't know what I was going to do. I sort of still was working for the billiard company as an independent rep, and I really got tired of that and figured I had to do something. And this is something I used to do, not tell anyone, but in your house, in the kitchen. My house smelled like a constant fermentation factory, especially when molasses was going. The wife didn't really enjoy that. And figured I would just take this thing I spent a ton of money researching and doing in my house and put that first foot forward and start building a distillery.
So when you were talking about you were a rep for this billiards company, like selling
pool tables, yes.
Selling pool tables. So you were still doing that when you came out over here?
Yeah, that's what I demoted myself from the VP of sales to the West Coast rep. So when I moved out here, I repped 11 states in Western Canada. And the West is a little harder to rep than the East Coast because the East Coast everything's so close, West everything's so far away. So it was a lot of travel. And for that 15 years in the billiard company, I traveled a lot, at least 3 weeks out of every month.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was international travel too. I would source products and sell them eventually.
Yeah. Okay. And so
I went from one sin to another, but
yeah, I'm noting the theme.
Right.
I'm noting the theme. So all that travel, all that time, you're deciding this is lame. This isn't what I really want to be doing.
Exactly.
Right. And when you said you were doing this in your kitchen, specifically distilling.
Specifically distilling. Had a little tiny 6-gallon still in the house. I had a little bucket wrapped in, I used to wrap my robe around it to keep it warm when it was cold in the kitchen. We lived in Astoria. We have a house that's over 100 years old. It had no insulation in the walls. So I finally got that done. And I would just ferment, try all kinds of different stuff. I had gallons, jugs everywhere around the house, just full of any kind of what I could find to try to ferment and see how it came out.
Yeah.
It was fun. Not all the stuff you drink.
No.
But I felt guilty throwing it away, so I just sort of sat around.
Yeah. But at some point you started feeling like, I'm good at this.
I understood the science, and I think I understood. I like the art of it. I think if I look at this as an 80% science, 20% art, and I seem to have I feel like I've got both those under control, for at least for what I like. When you taste spirits, you're tasting for the most part the distiller's palate, what we find comfortable and nice, and how we're bringing things off the still at different temperatures that will equate to flavor profiles and how we're blending our herbs.
Yeah.
It's a lot like a brewery. You're drinking his beer, you're drinking my spirits. You're drinking what we find palatable.
Yeah. And so was there a moment where you just decided, you know what, I should just open a distillery?
I was at a class up in Puget Sound, and you get around with all these people who aspiring distillers, and we just start talking, and like the excitement was there, and you're like, this is the next thing. At least I was feeling it.
Yeah.
And that was before the marijuana came on board. That probably was the next thing. But I took the hard road. Distilling is not an easy, especially in this state. But it was what I really enjoyed doing. I'm uber passionate about it. I eat this stuff up. I'm constantly thinking of this.
Yeah.
2 in the morning I wake up, I have to somehow turn my brain off.
Yeah.
It's not always easy.
This is the passion.
This is. I didn't know it was going to be. It just became.
Yeah.
You know, late in my life. I'm 48, so, you know, 7 years ago, I'm like, whoa, I got a bug.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. No
Nice.
penicillin can fix it.
So wait, you mean that you didn't have life figured out at 24?
I didn't have. I don't think I have life figured out now. I'm just rolling with it. I found a good place, things I really love to do, and everything. It took a long time to build it and put everything in place, but it's all falling in line now.
Awesome. And so from that moment when, like, so you were taking classes, like distilling classes.
Yeah, while I worked.
Okay.
These were weekends or week-long courses. I'd go all over to Denver, Seattle, back east, just go and take. I paid people, and what I realized is every time I paid them, I was learning the same thing from each one of them. So I wasn't getting anywhere,
Yeah.
and at that point, you've got to either stop it or you go forward.
Yeah.
And I've never been one to say let's go backwards. I just kept going forward.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how sort of like when this distillery, you get so far down this little rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
I had no choice but to keep going forward. I've got the licensing going. I talked to architects for build outs, and you start investing.
Well, let's pause there and let's back up just a little
sorry.
bit. So while you're I'm digging this. I just want to keep on. We're going to keep on the time frame. We're going to keep on the time frame. While you're going to these classes, have you already decided at this point you're going to open your own distillery?
No,
or are you
no.
doing this just to get better at your craft?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
It was all fun. A reprieve from a job I hated, working with people that were terrible.
Yeah.
And so that's what I just kept finding. And, you know, I was meeting great people along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and I stayed in contact. We talk every once in a while when it's needed, but good people, and there's an excitement. There really is this little culture of distilling.
Yeah.
We're not big like the brewers one a day would hope to be. Not, I mean, our industry, we're still a small industry, relatively speaking.
Yeah. Like there's a couple of like big corporate brands that tend to stick out and that you think of, but
yeah, unfortunately, the way the distilling world is, 2% of all distilling companies own over 60% of the market. So it's hard for us small guys to break barriers.
Yeah.
And they have it set up that way.
Yeah. But I mean, like you guys like, do you find that creates an opportunity to be able to specialize regionally? Like, because I'm thinking of like a couple of the spirits that you have, right? And I'm thinking of like AO whiskey, you know, or like Hell or High Water that came out. Like, it's like a fingerprint from this area.
This, you know, we all can contest who live in Astoria. It's a great town, and it leaves a mark on you. And that's what it did for me. And that's where this stuff sort of evolves out of.
Yeah.
Especially the Hell or High Water. It was such a perfect fit. And it was because I have the right people working with me now.
Yeah.
Who introduced me to the sea captains who will take these out. And I just dropped off 2 more barrels tomorrow.
But now
yesterday.
For those who don't know, and I'm breaking my own rule, I'm just abandoning the time frame because I'm super interested. And because I have a bottle of this sitting at home. Can you describe first, like, what does AO stand for in AO whiskey?
Yeah, AO is Astoria, Oregon.
Yeah.
And the name was brought up because when I first opened, I was sued for naming rights 5 times out of the door, just within the first year. So how I even got into the second year with all these lawsuits is well beyond me. And unfortunately, I'm not legally allowed to talk about most of them.
Yeah.
If you come in on the side, I'll tell you, but I can't tell all of them.
Yeah.
But so AO is something you can't sue me for. You can't sue for Astoria, Oregon, because no one can own that. So that's where that started.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done trying to come up with names. AO, Astoria, Oregon, that's what the bottle says. And then we got the Hell or High Water edition. Well, that is a single malt versus my corn whiskey, which is the regular AO, the American. The single malt, we've hooked up with some sea captains who go fishing, and they agree to put a few barrels on their ship and take it out for that fishing run. So right now we've got some guy on the Nordic Fox, Captain Cub. He's out in Washington and Oregon crab fishing right now.
Yeah.
So he took some barrels out yesterday. So we'll get those back in about 3 months.
How long? So they're actually like they finish their aging process in the barrels.
They're still on the barrels. Yes, exactly.
Okay. So this first batch, how long were they out?
They were out for 4 months.
Yeah. And thank you, Sea Captains. It's fucking amazing.
It is.
And this next batch, how long is this going to be out there?
I think this one's only going to be 2 months.
Yeah.
And unfortunately with the first batch, I didn't keep the before and after bottle. But now I got before and afters going, so I can see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is a different area, and a different weather pattern, a different fishing, because the last one was hake, this is crab, so everything will come out, hopefully flavor profiles will change based on the weather patterns and the environment around it.
Including like whatever product they're putting on the boat?
The last barrels were covered in hake guts and scales. It was a really disgusting fish. Those barrels were nasty.
Yeah, it's amazing though.
Yeah, I was really worried that fish was in the barrel. And luckily it wasn't. It didn't come off like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And then we've got in May, I'm not, but some more barrels are going to Alaska for crab fishing up there. So we hope to see what happens there too.
That's Alaska. That's a long time.
He'll be gone for a long time. So probably 5 months.
Wow. Yeah.
And the goal is to keep this going, because it really does help the process. I guess I can find some long haul truckers, do it with them, as long as that stuff's moving around. But I think the ocean water, the cold temperatures, really.
Does it have to stay moving?
It doesn't have to, but what happens if you think about it, if you look at a bottle, say that bottle's a barrel, and you fill it, you have a lot of volume to very little surface. So when you're sloshing it, you're taking that volume and you're constantly moving over that surface area, versus just sitting in the back room and just waiting years after year.
Yeah.
So it helps with the aging process. It helps extract all those charged sugars, the wood sugars coming out, the charring process. It smooths it out. It's such a soft whiskey. My wife hates whiskey, but she loves the ale.
Yeah.
She says, my other whiskey tastes like a Band-Aid. It doesn't, guys. It doesn't. It's a really nice corn whiskey.
Yeah.
But she's a tequila drinker.
Yeah. And so, I'm super fascinated. Okay, let's back up a little bit. So, on our timeline, you're taking these classes on distilling. You're finding out that maybe these particular classes are no longer offering you the benefit that they were initially, right? But you, at that point, you were still just doing this for self-improvement and just get better at your craft. When did it turn the corner and you start thinking, you know what, I could probably be bottling this and selling this?
It was when the Painted Lady Gin. That was my first epiphany in my spirits.
Yeah.
And she was brilliant right off the go.
Was she?
I thought so. She took a year of playing to get her, but where I got her now, I was like, this is a beautiful gin. It's elegant and very flavorful. At that point, I was like, let's try this. So I just, what do you need to do to open a distillery was the next question. So what do I need to do? I got online, I looked at the TTB, printed off their paperwork.
What's the TTB?
It's Tobacco and Trade Bureau,
Okay.
The IRS. It's another arm of the IRS. And they said that you got to do this. So I did that. And then I was like, if you're going to have a distillery, before you can put those paperwork, I have to have a place. That was the hardest thing for me.
Okay.
So 8 years ago in Astoria, you would have thought it would have been easy to find a place. For my needs, it was extremely difficult.
What specifically made it difficult for you?
Well, I need space. And this is a great space. This is building 3. This is building C. This wasn't my first choice.
Yeah.
First choice was on the Riverwalk. That fell through. And then I was looking at the building on 11th. That used to be the arcade.
Okay.
I wanted to go in there. And they didn't want me to go in there because I asked them if I could put floor drains in and cut a hole in the roof to my column so it could stick up there, and they didn't like the idea of me putting a skylight.
Yeah.
So that fell through. I was scrambling. I was like, this is not going to work. I can't find a space. I have to be in this core because I knew I was going to need our tourists to help out. It's a small town, so I knew I needed to be in the core where people were walking and coming. So this space, luckily, I stumbled upon it, and because there was nothing on Duane Street except Fort George way down, and the rest of it was a ghost town here.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, this is going to work. And then you leasing options, you do all that. Now all of a sudden I'm paying for a building. I've got to buy the machinery.
Yeah.
So I flew out to Dauphin in Missouri, middle of nowhere. I think the guys in Deliverance would have been scared to be there. We found this guy who was making that little still. It's a 250-gallon pot still, and he, with a reflux column, he was doing it, and I said, let's do it. Gave him the money, and now I have a still, I have a space, and I have all the little parts you can submit to the TTV. So you have to have everything before you can apply for your license.
So what? So you need the space, you need all the equipment, you need everything,
And then you can apply.
and is it basically just rubber stamp at that point?
No. You've got to
Yeah,
do background
this
checks.
is what, yeah.
It's scary, but you know, when you're someone that's not as bright as me, you know, if this was a school project, I would have failed because I just did it by sheer will.
Yeah.
I saw just every little thing as an obstacle that had to be overcome, and I just kept doing that obstacle, and it worked out. There's still obstacles. I just this is the next challenge. And if you don't attack it, then it attacks you. And
Yeah.
I can't say no now. I got to make everything work.
And so you've gone from making, and you said like a 5-gallon?
You're 6 gallons.
6-gallon to 250 gallons still.
Correct.
Same science though.
Nothing changes.
Same ratio, just a hell of a lot more of everything.
You just got to get ballsy. You got to jump into it.
Yeah.
If not, then don't do it. If it's going to scare you, and to be an entrepreneur and do this, it's scary. This isn't my first business. I've had cafes and little restaurants in Portland back in the 90s when I lived there. Those were always scary too.
Yeah. What number venture is this for you?
This is probably now my 3rd career.
Yeah.
After college, I had my cafes, sold them, moved to Tennessee, had that career, and now I'm on this one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's a weird point to stop, right? So what I hadn't figured out quite at that point is that I had forgotten to put a fresh SD card in one of my cameras, and it shut off. Thankfully, I was running 2 cameras, and so I still have video from one angle. But yeah, I didn't realize that the problem had been fixed yet. More on that in a moment, but for right now, let's get back to this segment. So as far as like doing your own thing though, right, like entrepreneur life, and so you own a Danish cafe, so you're taking with you the experience that you had from there,
Right.
a lot of lessons learned, a lot of things that you picked up along the way there, and I mean, how much of that was transferable to this?
If I would have paid attention, a lot of it. But you get so bogged down in every day here, and the amount of paperwork that I just had to figure things out differently. I should have had my QuickBooks open and all that in the beginning. Would have made life easy and sweet. But no, I was too worried. I got to make whiskey. I got to get gin on the I got to get this stuff out.
Yeah. Oh, I dig it.
It sounds fun now, but you should see me when I first opened.
Yeah.
I was a mess.
I want to talk about that, and I want to get into that. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take just a real quick break. When we come back, I want to hear about that opening experience. I want to hear about what it's like, actually like operating and running it day in and day out. And then maybe talk a little bit about the future, and maybe some advice for other individuals who are sitting on a passion and just waiting to be able to take that first step forward, that first scary step forward.
If it ain't scary, you're not doing it right.
Oh, I love it. All right, so again, we're here with Larry Carey from Pilot House Distilling. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. Hang in there. You gotta talk. You're doing great. All right. And we are back. Thanks for sticking around. During the break, I'm going to be honest, Larry poured us a couple of different spirits. I would highly recommend folks of legal age to come on in and to give it a shot. We've tried a little bit of Painted Lady, barrel aged, which was absolutely wonderful. And then a little bit of the rum as well. Oh my God, you are fucking good at this.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're so good at this.
When you like something, you throw yourself at it.
Yeah. And so and we've also, I should also point out, we've been sipping along through the video a little bit of the Diablo Soul. A little bit, but it's been absolutely great. Oh, and for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you might notice that we now are going to have an extra camera angle because one of the cameras shut off and didn't work, and that's the nature of it sometimes. So we're back now. Let's pick up where we left off. So you've got your space. You've got, you've received the blessing, right?
Right.
You're ready to open the doors. Talk me through that.
Oh, before you even open the door, I had to start making spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it got scary, because now I'm not doing it in the kitchen anymore, not using the kids' bathroom and literally use their bathroom to distill everything.
A process that we don't advise.
Yeah, it's against the law, guys, so I was making essential oils.
Yeah, very strong essential
No,
oils.
you're always worried that what you're going to produce is not what you need. It's not going to reflect who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest.
So, hopeful me. Yeah, at this point, that memory card's completely done, so we're just going to go with the one camera angle for the rest of the time. But live and learn, right?
You're always worried that what you're going to produce is not what you need. It's not going to reflect who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
And that was the scariest part, I think. Open that door and turn that key. I had dreams that as soon as that door opened, they would come flooding in. Oh, the coolest thing in the distillery, but it wasn't like that. I had to struggle through probably a good year before business started really get going.
Yeah. But you said you had to start with actually making the spirits.
Gotta actually make it. So, the first thing you put on the shelf is the clear stuff. Because that's the quickest to market.
Yeah.
You gotta keep the lights on, you gotta keep the door open, so your vodka, your gin, and the shelves look so bare. It was almost embarrassing. I'd go to trade shows and all you're showing is vodka and a gin. It's like, okay. And
Yeah.
I feel for the new guys, because I'm like a middle-aged distiller in the state now, like for the distillery's age.
Yeah.
There's some really old ones, lots of really young ones, and I'm right in the middle. So I'm a mature distiller,
Yeah.
and I guess that's the way to put it in this state.
So, behind us, we actually have your first still.
Yeah, there's my little 6-gallon still.
Yeah, and you've gone from that to 250 gallons. And something you were explaining to me was that it's essentially the same thing.
All you do is scaling up.
Yeah.
If you know math, it's easy.
Yeah.
And it all works the same no matter what scale.
Yeah.
If you miss a step or mess up on the way, I've ruined some batches and I had to flush them down, and that's always a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the same.
Yeah.
If you were in New Zealand and making that spirits where you're allowed to, we'll say that, you can make great spirits with a little machine like that. You don't need that fancy thing back there.
Yeah.
Maybe that looks much better than this little coffee pot.
It does.
I
I didn't say it looks like
it is a coffee pot. Coffee warmer. I had to break it open and rip out the safety mechanisms because they kept tripping when it would get too hot.
Let's not give any detailed explanations of that because we don't want to tempt you.
I don't recommend anyone doing that.
Yeah.
You're not legally allowed to distill at home in any state.
Yeah. But so you're opening the doors. You've just got shelves of the clear stuff, right? And you said, so what was it like having individuals come in for the first time and actually try your spirits?
Even today it's the same. I'm nervous. I'm making sure I give them the best thing I can produce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rush anything, and I think that's the biggest secret in distilling is you have to let the spirits develop themselves. So I was nervous. I want everyone to enjoy themselves. I pride myself on what I do. I'm not the only one here. My wife's the same way. We take a lot of pride in what we make. We've made lots of things. We've made drinking vinegars. We've made spirits, Bloody Marys.
Drinking vinegar.
Drinking vinegars. We used to make some really great, they're called shrubs. It's an old world way of preserving fruit juices. You let them turn acidic, and turn vinegar, and you sweeten them with sugars.
Really?
And unfortunately, we used live apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
So mothers in it. So what we would have with all the yeast floating around back here is we have a lot of exploding bottles. Because so we realized real quick, even though they were really popular, that they didn't fit into a distillery. They fit on the shelf with the product, and you can make some amazing cocktails with this stuff. But they didn't. You can't make them in a distillery because there's just too much going on.
I'm sorry, you're not being hyperbolic, like literal just
Exploding bottles. We probably should use swing tops because they would start fermenting inside. The mother would come alive.
Yeah.
It's really good for you. It just tastes great, but so we get people that the bottles just exploded inside the cover. There's balsamic vinegar all everywhere. And we're like, oh man, sorry, we'll pay for it. And so we just had to close that down.
Yeah.
If we ever get a commercial kitchen that's sealed away from the distillery, that'd come back to that. We love making vinegars.
Really?
So if you guys have never tried drinking vinegars, sipping vinegars, highly recommend it. You'll love them. Great for foods, cocktails, anything.
Yeah.
Soda water, they're wonderful things.
Strong endorsement from a master distiller. So.
I haven't hit master yet. I'm trying.
Yeah.
Crazy distiller.
Great from a crazy
distiller.
Crazy good distiller.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So, and you said it took about a year for it to take off.
It took a year off to really get going when we can start paying for itself. So that year was frightening.
Yeah. And when did you open your doors?
February 14th, 2013.
2013.
7 years this week.
7 years,
Right.
Yeah, because I moved into the Astoria area a little over 3 years ago, right? And I did all the touristy bullshit when I got here. And this is going to sound really bad for the next step. And I went to Bowie and like, you know, checked out the sea lion floor and things like that. And went over to be able to have a drink, and I had a cocktail. And at that time, right, they were just raving about your vodka over there. Like, they just thought it was just the best thing ever.
I know it's all going to tie in, but they've always been awesome to us since day one.
Yeah. And that's a culture in this area.
Yeah, we were all supportive. Fort George has been great, Reach Break. Everyone here, this is a great town. I don't think people know that unless they come to this town and live in this town. This is a real community.
Yeah.
It's not like living, I'll take my experience, Nashville, Tennessee, where you're just a body walking through the streets going by. Everyone knows you, they take care of you, so that happens, you're going to get help.
Yeah, and not too long ago, I saw it on Instagram, like, you were hosting a tour for like for Blaylock's Bottle Club.
Yeah, they just asked me, we used to host a lot more things in here. A little busy now. Things have really started to move up.
Good.
This is a weird state to make spirits in. You would think this would be the greatest state.
Yeah.
It is probably one of the worst states to be a distiller.
Yeah. And we were talking about in the break that we just recently had a distiller close in Canada.
Really good guy down there, make great spirits. It's hard. The state uses us. I guess it's short words. We pay 40% of our sales on average on a weekly basis to the state.
Yeah.
So they view this tasting room you're sitting in. This is their liquor store. This is not. We don't make money out of this. They're not allowed to. We have to. The distillers in the state of Oregon have to be on a large scale to be profitable.
Wow.
We're working on it, and I'll pitch the Senate Bill 1565 right now. Helps us. It's just a little relief. It lets us keep a certain amount of our taxes up to a certain dollar amount in our tasting rooms.
I'll put a link in the description.
It's been a long time. I've been working on it. The Guild's been working on it. If you want to see a real explosion in the distilling industry in Oregon, that's one bill that's going to start the process. We're about 30 years behind the wine and the beer industry. They've unraveled from the old Prohibition era laws and set themselves pretty good. We're still stuck there, and we're trying to force this apart.
Yeah. Come on, Oregon.
It's slowly coming. We're starting to get some forward-thinking senators and representatives to help us.
But a good thing to be able to keep in mind if somebody out there is like, is really interested in distilling and taking classes and thinking that this is a field they want to get into. That's the thing you need a budget for. That's the thing you need to really take consideration for.
Yeah, someone here didn't do it. That's what I was gonna. I wasn't the smartest. I went full hog into this game. Just let's go do it, and then I figured everything out as I was going. I said it was an obstacle, and now I'm at this obstacle, and I've been for 7 years.
Yeah.
And fighting tooth and nail to remove some of those barriers. Because I would love to see more people come into it. And I think if we look at this industry in 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a lot more distilleries come in, and they're going to be these distillers are going to be sprung out of distilleries like this. They're going to be trained. They're going to go out and do more, like McMinim's did for the brewing. There's a lot of brewers out there that work for McMinim's and some of the Rogue and all those people who've come out and started their own.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen. It'll be really neat to watch this industry grow.
So let's talk about growth for Pilot House.
Pilot House, yes.
Right? Because, okay, so you opened the door, right? And so it was vodka and gin?
Basically vodkas and gin, and then I was trying to develop vodkas. Flavor profiles for all the lime, lemon gingers. I didn't want to go too crazy where it would scare like a salmon vodka or a pickled beet vodka.
A salmon vodka.
I wanted something that would always complement cocktails, or one thing I would strive is to be able to drink a spirit on its own. You should always be able to drink spirits on its own. If you can't, then don't drink it.
Yeah.
Find something else.
Yeah.
Because there are some beautiful spirits out there, really great craftsmen and women. But that's what I tried. So it took time, and I did make a moonshine in the beginning. The ale whiskey, the bourbon. It came out as a moonshine. But I found I was running in the circle making so much of that I could never barrel age it.
Yeah.
So I just had to draw a line.
Yeah.
I said, I can't do this anymore. I will wait to 2 to 4 years. And then it started slowly rolling off.
Yeah.
And then there's been gaps where, because of our system, I haven't been able to produce enough whiskey to put in barrels that I would go months without whiskey. And then I come back and I save up enough funds to...
Yeah.
It's been a struggle.
But now, like, so you've gone from, from relatively humble beginnings when you open the door to you're offering tequila and you're offering rum and you're offering whiskey and, and also canned cocktails.
Canned cocktails. We're the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
So that's another state law I hope to change. So anyone out there who sees an obstacle, you can always overcome it if you have the gumption to fight it. So in the state of Oregon prior to 2017 now, you couldn't can a cocktail under 23%. So there's not really a cocktail that's gonna knock you out.
Yeah.
Even at 10%, these ones are pretty stiff.
Yeah.
So I had to work with the OLCC and the state legislature. We got rules written that brought down what they recognize as spirits to a lower percentage. So we can can an actual cocktail, because you don't have cocktails that high, unless you're drinking a Long Island iced tea. And I think you're drinking it for the wrong reason. You've been watching too much Cocktail.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So, so we started the canned cocktail, not only in the state, it's been around forever. I've done lots of international travels. I saw RTDs, ready drinks, on the shelves in the UK and Mideast. You'd see those.
Yeah.
And you can drink in the Mideast if you know where to go.
Okay. Yeah.
And usually hotels with lots of pool tables.
Yeah. Larry's going to come up with a travel travel blog as well.
If I knew how, I would.
Where to drink when you drink. Okay.
So that was just a natural. It just made sense.
Yeah. And so you've experienced some good growth.
Yeah.
You've broadened.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
It's been hard. And don't get me wrong. There's many sleepless nights. Wrestling with the bank and my own pocketbook, but we've turned that corner finally.
Good.
And it took a long time.
Yeah.
They always say 3 years in 3 years in your business, you're good. Well, in the distilling, I think it's a lot longer in this state.
I think anybody that gives a time frame like that's bullshit.
Right.
But
I just had to do it. And that's where I'm at.
Awesome. So, what's the future look like for you?
I think for Pilot House, the future is looking really good. We've partnered with Bowie Beer Company. We're really excited about that. We've merged companies. So that has helped me with backroom in the sense that they have a full office staff, so that's off my plate.
Yeah.
It's off my wife's plate. Now, my wife does a ton, and she's not getting enough credit. She's not here. She's taking care of the dogs.
Yeah.
And making dinner. But I usually make dinner, so just let you guys know. Okay. Bowie's been wonderful. The synergy's perfect, and I know that's one of those words you don't always want to hear, synergy. But it's been wonderful. Forward-thinking people who want to see growth here. They have the same vision that I do, and that's help him. I guess I did have a business partner, and he didn't have that vision. It was butting heads a lot, and it hurt the company. And now I've got partners who really have the same pathway.
Yeah, that's great. And so, what does growth look like for you guys, like in the future?
Well, we're starting to broaden our distribution. So we were looking, and we were picking up at distribution companies in Washington. In Oregon, it's a little different, but we're stuck with Oregon as our distributor. But we've picked up ambassador reps and sales managers who are starting, and this is all in line with Bowie, and so we can get out to it. Deep
Because
penetrate.
right now you're just in Oregon?
Oregon and some parts of Washington. We
Okay.
self-distribute in Washington, and I've always had a small distributor up in the Bellingham area.
Okay.
So now we'll start filling the pie in, which will help me in the back, keeps me busy in production.
Yeah.
And that's, I went from doing almost everything to only having to do production. I don't even have to clean the bathroom anymore. That's why you get great business partners, no bathroom cleaning.
Yeah. So, thank you to the soul who actually gets out there and cleans the rest.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Okay, good. So that's exciting. Now we're going to switch gears just a little bit. So, what I want you to do is I want you to think about overall, like the experience that you've had, lessons that you learned, and now do you have a message for individuals who they have a passion, they have a goal, but they're either stuck in the planning phase or they just don't know how to be able to move forward? Any advice from your experience and what you picked up on how that person can move out of the planning phase and just start their own journey?
I wish I had the magic formula. All I can say is move forward. Whatever's going to take you to that next step, even if it's small, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
That's all you go forward. If you're not going forward, where are you going? You're going backwards.
Yeah.
If you have a passion and you're good at it and it's something you love, just do it. This town, in the last 9 years I've been here, is built on people's passions. You can see it from Bowie, Reach Break over there, Reveille, Blaylocks, all these people, and all our little food. These are amazing individuals we have in here who have not let anything stop them.
Yeah.
They're just, we're going to do this, go out and do it.
Yeah.
And that's just go and do it.
Even if that means basically like you're taking your product off of the shelf and you're basically presenting it like your child. It's saying like,
you are.
Please tell me that my child is
good.
Is okay. Yeah.
I got teenagers, so they're no good anymore.
So he kind of means that. He kind of,
I love my
as a
kids.
father of teens, he kind of means that. Yeah. All right, man. This has been absolutely great. Like I've so enjoyed this. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Any parting words? Anything?
Keep doing what you're doing. This is fun.
Yeah.
And when you want to come back and see updates, just let me know.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put it on my calendar.
Are you ready for 100 or something? Episode 100 or?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Larry, this has been absolutely great.
Pleasure, yeah.
Really appreciate it. So again, Larry Carey, Pilot House. If you are in the area of Astoria, Oregon, and you like really good spirits, this is a place that you want to make a stop at. All right. So this is Michael Shipley with Headphones Recommended. Reminder: make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, make sure to turn those notifications on so that you don't miss an episode. New episodes every Wednesday. Until then, get
Cheers,
to it.
guys.
Cheers. Yeah.
How'd we do?
Oh,
Had a good time?
Yeah, great.